Hello everybody and welcome back to the Ultimate Fashion History's 20th Century Style Icons. Today we're going to be looking at a lady who we can all agree always looks great, but it might come as a surprise to some of you what a huge fashion influencer she was in 1976 and 1977. Barbra Streisand. Before we begin, I want to make a statement. It's bold and I'm sticking by it. Barbra Streisand is the greatest singer who ever was or ever could be. There we go, I said it. I am a huge Barbra Streisand fan. And as all true Streisand fans know, she's had many iconic looks over the decades. Here she is, classic Barbra, we call her, in the 60s with her bouffant bob and baby doll dresses. Then in the early 70s, I call it California Barbra, with her long flowing blonde hair and Malibu tan, and of course today, the elegant grande dame of American entertainment. But what we're going to be looking at today is Barbra Streisand, 1976-1977, the Star is Born era. In 1976, the ultimate Streisand vehicle debuted. A Star is Born. Chris Christopherson, of course, plays the tragic superstar of the movie who falls in love with aspiring, ambitious young songwriter Barbra Streisand, and the two fall in love, and it's all terribly tragic. The critics also found it terribly tragic, but in a very different way. It was panned, absolutely panned, by being nothing more than an embarrassing vanity vehicle for Barbra Streisand, but it was one of the highest grossing movies of the era because impressionable young women loved it. It was sort of the Notebook of its era, panned by the critics, laughed at by guys, but adored by women. And women particularly adored Barbra Streisand's wardrobe in A Star is Born, especially the pantsuits she would wear. She'd also wear a lot of kind of romantic, nostalgic, sort of hippie-ish stuff. But this skin-tight three-piece suit with the big collared shirt, collar on the outside, of course, was an absolute talking point. Everybody wanted this suit. She wears a white version of it too. Now, this wasn't like the Yves Saint Laurent pantsuit at all. That was sort of looser. This was skin tight and kind of sexy. And it was knocked off by everyone. Look, here it is on the front of a J.C. Penney catalogue from summer 1977. And here it is, again, in a Penney's catalogue. Skin tight, but take a look at the bright green and bright yellow versions there. But more than this suit, what really influenced and impacted people, often to terribly tragic results, was her perm. This loose corkscrew perm. Oh my goodness, this hairdo was imitated, honestly, as much as Farrah Fawcett's winged hairdo with those flippy wings was imitated by everyone the following year. It was created for Barbra by her then boyfriend and celebrity hairstylist John Peters, and there he is pulling at her curls. Everyone went for this perm. I remember my mother saw A Star is Born, and the very next day, of course, she had to have this perm. And I remember that she was too embarrassed to take a photograph of Barbra Streisand with the perm to the hairdressers because she didn't want the hairdresser to think that she was, trying to be like Barbra Streisand. So she got a picture out of a magazine and cut Barbra Streisand's face out of it. And I can't help but think how deranged the hairdresser must have thought my mother was when this woman showed up with a picture of hair with no face. Everybody went for this perm. Sometimes it looked good, it looked right, because the curls were supposed to be kind of loose and wild. It looks good here, it looks pretty good here, but the problem that most people made was that they got the perm too tight. They got it too tight, and then they just left it that way. They didn't keep pulling at the curls and lifting the curls as you were supposed to. This is an English soap star who went for the Barbra Streisand Star is Born perm, not to such great results, but probably better than a few of my classmates who tried for the perm, because I had my perm done at a professional salon because my parents were hip and trendy and wanted us all to have this perm. But I know some girls who tried to do it at home with one of these home perming kits, and oh my lord, the state of them the very next day at school, because when this perm went wrong, it went terribly wrong. What would Barbara think? As I was putting this together, a lot of memories came back to me, including Evergreen. The song Evergreen, which did win the Oscar for Best Song from a Movie, was played everywhere during the Star is Born era. I think my sisters played it on a loop. Love soft as an easy chair, love fresh as the morning air. I didn't even like that song, and now I can't even get it out of my mind. But what really came back to me, and those of you who are old enough and had this perm will remember this. You could not go anywhere without this, your afro comb. You see, you had to keep lifting and pulling at your curls all the time. You couldn't use a regular hairbrush because then you would destroy the curl. And unlike Barbra Streisand, not all of us were lucky enough to have a celebrity hairdresser follow us around all the time to pull at our curls. So with this skin-tight pantsuit with the wide lapels and ginormous collar and that perm, I can confidently tell you guys from a fashion historical point of view that Barbra Streisand really did, for about 10 minutes, have an enormous fashion impact. Look at this picture I found on the net. I think this girl is probably a big fan of A Star is Born. Well, I hope you enjoyed this rather hair-raising episode of 20th Century Style Icons on the Ultimate Fashion History. You can contact me through my website, amandahalley.com. Oh, there I am, without a perm, thank goodness. Join our Facebook group. We have loads of fun over there. I'm back every week with more on the Ultimate Fashion History, so just click the little circle to subscribe. And until then, don't get your hair permed. Bye for now.